Hey, we're back. So, funny enough, this was a request. I saw it last night and like, damn. Okay, we're digging down this rabbit hole. So, we're gonna do a few things here. Hmm, give me a second. I gotta think about this. When doing this, there's a few things I definitely gotta avoid. I don't want to talk about a couple of like crucial aspects. Like, people know if you played the Umineko. Like, Rosa is, yeah, she's definitely something. All right. Okay. So as usual, I do take priority over requests, but this is kind of different because I'm technically doing a request in the background, which is the Golden Sun one, and I am doing like the Metroid video. So I normally wouldn't do three things at the same time, but the thing is, Golden Sun is gonna be that's still a long term project. I'm writing like 10 hours, almost 10 hours in regards to like writing scripts. So that's gonna be not released anytime soon. So technically only really working on the Metroid video. So I don't mind doing this. So I'm gonna do this, get the outline started. Later on, I'll start the script for Metroid, then I'll continue working on Golden Sun. So sit back, relax, and let's chill. Okay. A few more things I don't really want to go into, but that's fine. Okay. So how are we gonna structure this? So Rosa is really complex, but she gets she obviously gets a bad rap because of the Maria situation and a lot of other things. So we weren't we're not gonna dig down that rabbit hole just because it's not the best topic to talk about. Like it's gonna ruffle a lot of feathers. So I'm taking a different approach to this. So I'm gonna be talking about the various masks that she actually wears. So as usual, I do have extensive knowledge in regards to Umineko. It's been a few years though. Like it's 2025 right now. God, I think it was like I was peak 2008 to 2014 in Umineko, but I still have a good amount of knowledge. So we should be good to go with this. Hmm. actually have the perfect quote for this. Yes. Yeah, yeah, it was. I'll confirm it. It's been a bit since I actually messed around with Da Vinci. Right, give me one sec. Let's see. Um, yeah, it is. Okay. The greatest deception men suffer is from their own opinions. Especially her. Definitely her. Okay, that's good. All right. Look at that. That's fine. That's not the end of the world. Whoops. Still getting used to this new keyboard. It's a good keyboard. Like I don't mind the mechanical switches, the cherry switches to be exact, but it's just the layout is still kind of like foreign to me. Like I'm going off of muscle memory, and sometimes I just misclick. Use my French, but yeah, she's batshit crazy. Right, but that's good. Okay, let's think about this. There's a lot of them. I'm just trying to put two and two together in my head, so just give me a second. Literally her default one. Mostly you. Well, she does do it with the kids, but it's mostly used toward the siblings. Sorry about that. This one's the funny one because, in that quote, she is a businesswoman in a sense if her business is failing, but the more you read into her, you can tell she gives zero fucks about that. For the quotations, because again, like once you read into it, it's like yeah, like I doubt she like even cares. now what do we have? They're using this so weird. Was the meme back then? Rosa Ushiromiya is the mother of the year. God damn! But we're not digging into that rabbit hole like that. That's just a train wreck right there. Okay, so I have to mention something in regards to her relationship with Maria. Like I don't want to get go down that rabbit hole because it's awkward. It's really awkward talking about that. But okay, so for people that don't know, Rosa, being the youngest, was pretty much straight up bullied by her siblings and even her dad. Jesus Christ, like it got really bad. So she, in a sense, got a pretty shitty childhood, and ironically enough, she kind of does the same shit to Maria. So it's like this shit happened to me, now it's gonna happen to you. I don't. It's not really necessarily stated it's intentional, but it's like it's ironic. Like you were bullied, now look at your relationship with your daughter. Shit. A second. I will fix that. This is especially seen when Maria accuses her of going out, like going on vacations, partying, etc., which is not necessarily true. It's just Maria not knowing like what's really going on in Rosa's life, but you can tell like she's not fully there because if you see her expression, like if you watch like the anime, if you see her expression, it's like she doesn't even know what how to like even like respond to that. Big massive disconnect between those two. We can follow up with that, but this one's a big one. Ask of resentment. Again, I'm using this really loosely right now. Everybody in that damn family is batshit crazy. It's just this one right here is probably the most craziest one, which I get into, which I'll get into later. And like this one's a very important one because as you see, like her resentment is like it's pretty up there. Holy shit! I'm not saying that everybody else in that family is good in regards to having a normal family life. Like you could tell, like Jessica, like, she is very pressured by her parents. George is he's another weird one, but having Ava as a mom, oh my god, I cannot imagine the pressures of that. That's just batshit crazy right there. Then there's Rudolph and Keith, well, Rudolph, but totally butchered that. That's fine. Like her interactions with Ava are like those are peak animosity. Like holy shit! Like just waiting for them just to square up. Just damn, that's some high ass level tension. And again, it's in Rosa's case, it's warranted because of their childhood. Like especially with Ava. Ava was really brutal to her. What even mask do I have right now? What the? Oh my god, this is definitely gonna be a fucking video. But again, this shows how complex she is. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh my god, like there's still more about her. Fine, we'll go balls deep into this. Fuck. I already have her playing the victim, but I got something else. Does this a lot. Definitely, definitely does this a lot. Racing. There's a couple more I can use. I'm just thinking. There's a couple more private ones that you rarely see. So Master Shin. Oh yeah, especially this one, self-loathing. She does that. Okay, so again, she's a what's the best way for me to describe Rosa in a nutshell? Batshit insane, batshit crazy, but you don't notice it. But when their introduction, because she's seen like the nice aunt, then you get deeper into the story. It's like, oh my god, this bitch is actually crazy. So since I did mention that she has the facade of being like a nice aunt, this one is this next one is gonna be the big one. What the fuck? Oh, fuck word. Lord will fix it. Oh, nice. He's arguably probably, besides the whole magic aspect of Umineko, if you really want to be cute about it, she's probably the most dangerous normal character in the entire series. Subtly towards Battler. I'm gonna reword that. The thing is, again with the whole Eva thing, Eva would just constantly make fun of her or about her being stupid and all that shit. But no, like if you really like dig deep into Umineko, you'll realize like no, like Rosa is actually really smart. And this whole little facade that she's doing is just masking, and I quote, own agendas. Like, remember, Rosa can solve the epitaph. She can definitely solve it, but she has her own plans. The more you dig deep into it, but yeah, like she does have this mask of the fool, like playing dumb and useless, but she's extremely smart, batshit crazy, and yeah, she's underestimated. It's extremely underestimated. Like you'll see it once you start reading. But yeah, she's probably like the most dangerous normal person throughout this whole like series. Wait a minute. Oh, I got something. It needs its own little section. Very bad habit of just ruining characters for people. I realize that, but it's all in due fun. I enjoy doing these. I'm actually after this. I'm actually gonna touch base with my psychologist friend, who actually I introduced him to Umineko like years ago. I'm like, dude, I got requested to do Rosa. We all know how this is gonna go. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna have him just review this, and he'll be like, hey, are you gonna talk about Yasu? No, fuck no. I am not doing weird theories. No, God. Shannon and Cannon are never in the same room. I'm like, please, no, my feeble brain cannot handle this. Again, batshit crazy. Okay, we gotta start at the beginning. Her childhood. I have the perfect example for this. Let me just finish writing this, and I'll get into that one. Okay, so again, as mentioned, Rosa is fucking batshit crazy. Again, her relationship with her daughter Maria is extremely strained, and as mentioned, I'm not going to talk about the other physical aspects of their relationship, but let's just say Maria is still like an adolescent. She's still like a child, pretty much, and Rosa has done stuff that really, really makes you question, like, dude, are you just not right in the head? And yeah, like, she's not right in the head. So as a gift, Rosa made Maria a stuffed teddy bear, if I remember correctly. She did make it. So where I'm getting at is Rosa is not happy with the way Maria goes about her life, believing in the supernatural and witches, which, and I quote, Rosa kind of did believe in that when she was a kid, but it, she doesn't seem like the way Rosa makes it seem like it's not acceptable for a girl her age, and through the physical like trauma that she gave Maria, Maria has a speech impediment where she just says whenever she's like um the word whenever she's like agitated or trying to get her point across, which is again a pretty significant speech impediment that was brought upon by Rosa herself while the abuse. So during a sequence, Rosa was really getting like pissed at Maria and took the teddy bear Sakatoro, which Maria, with her vivid imagination, views as a real person. Rosa took the teddy bear and decapitated it, literally cut it, and held the head up to Maria, saying Sakatoro is dead. I'm like, holy shit, holy fuck! You just see like the most dark expression on Rosa's face as Maria is just like crying. I'm like, oh my god, this bitch is actually crazy. It does. So if I remember correctly, during the whole Ava Beatrice scenario, remember Umineko works on episodes in their game board. So Ava ends up solving the epitaph and becoming Ava Beatrice. But eagle-eyed viewers and readers notice, like during that whole little sequence, um, Rosa was actively, and I quote, stalking Ava, like in a creepy, creepy way. Like you do like it. It alludes to the fact that she knows what's going on, but she's allowing Ava to do this, and like that's extremely scary and dangerous. Like, yeah, I'm allowing you to do this. I could do this myself. I can solve this, but I'm just watching you. Time. Hmm. Ah, my favorite word. Yeah, I think that's good. Now we can delve deep into if we delve deeper into the psychological bit of it, which again I'm gonna have my psychologist friend actually fact check me later. Of course. Okay, now let's dig deep into this train wreck of a character. Not a train wreck. She's very complex. Sure. Definitely fragmented identity. Especially from her family. We can go into dissonance as well. We can go to a little bit more detail. Especially with Maria, that's for sure. And Rosa, and Ava, I mean. Okay, now we can talk about the sadism a little bit. Okay. Yeah, like hello there. It is true. It's like she's a very complex character, but the stuff that she does to like Maria, it's no, that's just way too much. She takes out all her frustrations and all her childhood trauma on Maria, and as you've seen, like Maria is not right in the head as well. But she's a very complex character. She's extremely complex. But I do sympathize with Rosa in certain regards. Like some of the stuff she had to deal with, all the pressures of her family. Yeah, it's very very difficult. It's a very difficult situation. I don't mind the character per se. Like she's again very complex, but her interactions with Maria and the fact that her abuse did cause Maria to develop that speech impediment, what she did to Sakatoro, it's all that stuff. It's like it's 50-50. But we can't deny that she's a pretty complex character. We should sympathize with her because obviously, as we've seen, what her family did to her when she was a child, the abuse, the physical and mental abuse from Rosa, not Rosa, Eva, it's pretty crazy. Um, where was I? Social research, but yeah, okay. Yeah, it does do that. Yeah, yeah, that's true. She's ultimately the most unfortunate Ushimiya directly under Kinzo. While I can't defend what she did with Maria, it is completely understandable how it would come to that. Yeah, of course. Like the way she was brought up, especially being the youngest and being, and I quote, no better than the furniture, it did seem that way. It's like, wow, like, holy shit, like, you guys just straight up don't like her. And again, her relationship with Eva, like, just that, like, full circle is like, what was it, Baka Rosa? But yeah, like, deep down, like, she is very sympathetic. Like, if you put aside what she did to Maria, taking out all her frustrations on Maria and all that stuff, she's definitely a broken woman. Definitely a broken woman. She's one of my favorite characters. All right. Before I go to the conclusion, let me actually look at this again. It's a lot that I wrote. Okay. So, Rosa is a broken woman cloaked in darkness, her true self hidden behind countless masks that control a storm of madness, rage, and despair. Um, quote, it's. Alright, give me a second. Again, like, Umineko is an extremely complex series. You don't really necessarily know the truth. Like, it's no better than the Yasu theory, but Rosa Treese would make sense. I was actually discussing this with a friend of mine not too long ago. Because remember, Anti Rosa is technically a fashion company. What would stop Rosa from making herself look exactly like Beatrice? Because if you really want to be cute about it, if you look at Beatrice's hairstyle and Rosa's hairstyle, they have the same hairstyle, the Hime cut. Rosa can definitely just style her hair like Beatrice and just wear like contacts, and you have Rosa looking like Beatrice. But again, it's just a theory. But maybe not. It's like with Yasu. Digging into theories is what makes this series actually great. You just don't never have a concrete answer. What's your opinion on it? I remember long ago, when Willard was introduced and Leon, um, the fact that Shannon blue screened, like, I will never forget that image where Shannon just gave like the most deadpan look when she was talking to Willard. I'm like, wow. Then the fact that it was brought up that Cannon and Shannon are never in the same room together, like, that is, my feeble mind cannot comprehend that back in the day. Okay, Rosa's family, even herself, are trapped behind layers of deception, fragmented identities. Yeah, it does. Yeah, going off of that, yeah, like Rosa Trees, it does have more merit. Yeah, when it comes to the whole Ushidamiya family, I feel like Rosa's motives, probably would points her towards being the actual villain. But again, everybody in that family has their own agendas. But definitely digging into like theories, I just never really liked the Yasu theory. I just always assumed, like, yeah, it's most likely Rosa, just because of how similar she looks to Beatrice. Okay, let's see. Going back to this overview of Rosa's role in the family and narrative, her outward image versus the brutal reality of her personality, the significance of Mask and unlocking her complex character. So, Mask of Deception, the calm facade, hiding inner chaos. used especially around family to avoid vulnerability, directed at family members broadly, particularly with her siblings who underestimate her. Mask of the businesswoman, pride and forced professionalism, hiding her desperation to maintain control, primarily worn towards family members. Mask of the, and I quote, normal mother, superficial care for Maria, masking the emotional distance and difficulty connecting, worn mostly in Maria's presence. Exactly, exactly. Rosa. What myself and my buddies back in the day just assumed was, um, and if you play Ogamusu Kyako, when in Rosa's ending, she actually becomes a witch. Rosa most likely does have interest in the occult, but she'd rather not have Maria do it in public. But Maria, as we know, does it in public. So yeah, because at the end of the day, Rosa does have to have a certain image in public, and if Maria is doing all that stuff, it's like it doesn't help Rosa's image at all, and thus the abuse. Mask of the businesswoman, pride and forced professionalism, hiding her desperations to maintain control, primarily worn towards family members. Mask of the anti-cool normal mother, superficial care for Maria, masking emotional distance and difficulty connecting, worn mostly in Maria's presence. Mask of rationality. Oh yeah, when she died on the cliff. Hmm. Yeah, that was a big. I didn't reference it here, but that was a big turning point in her life when that Beatrice was killed. Then again, we kind of do have to, and I quote, cut her a little bit of slack because she was just a kid. But Kuadori and Beatrice should have had more common sense. Like, why would you go, especially how you're dressed, like scaling that cliff? I'm going off the manga, of course. The manga went a little more detail about it. But scaling that cliff in that gigantic Victorian dress and the heels is just a like disaster, like just waiting to happen. So when it comes to being the villain, like Rosa definitely fits the criteria of being the villain, definitely. And the fact that, as I mentioned in this, she's not dumb. Like she's really smart. It's just the facade that she wears. I've heard interesting theories that Yasu is a personification of Rosa's guilt, seeing herself as less than furniture for what she's done, manifesting in the youngest servant who does not exist. I can see how that would work. It's just Yasu is such a weird theory. I'm just thinking right now. Um Shit. Give me a moment actually thinking about that. Because the way they described Yasu back in the it's been a bit. It's been definitely been a bit. Because if I remember some theories, like people were theorizing back in the day that Yasu was fitting the canon Shannon role, but it doesn't make sense. Like, Umineko, I love Umineko, but damn, their theories just go all over the place. But going off of that theory, yeah, I can probably see that working. Yasu is a personification of Rosa's guilt, seeing herself less than furniture for what she's done, manifesting in the youngest servant who does not exist. Interesting. Okay. Mask of rationality, clinging to logic to deny harsh truths, shown especially towards Battler and other family members. Mask of the victim turned punisher, pain from neglect turned into harshness and emotional abuse towards Maria. Yes, so the fact that she had, yeah, it's too simple. It's a really simple theory going with that. And again, just if you really look at it, like sure, like it could make sense, but going off of the complexity of Umineko is just way too easy. Mm. Oh, I actually need to. It's been years since I've actually gone through like the visual novel, but yeah, like it's never been like a one of my favorite theories. Like it just makes no sense. It's just too easy. Mask of victim turned punisher. Pain for neglect turned into harshness and emotional abuse towards Maria. So pretty much all the abuse that Rosa had, physically and mentally, she just put it towards Maria. It's ironic in a sense. Mask of denial and projection, blaming others to avoid self-reflection and painful truth, used broadly towards family members and sometimes Battler. Mask of fragility and hopelessness, beneath her anger is a fragile psyche, private, rarely seen by others. So when Rosa was called out by Maria, because remember, Maria thought Rosa was just going out on vacations and I quote seeing boyfriends. And if you watch the anime and you saw like Rosa's expression, it's like wow, like Rosa didn't know how to respond to that. So deep down, like Rosa's psyche's pretty fragile, and the big one is resentment. So Rosa harbors deep resentment towards her siblings who enjoy, and I quote, normal loving families and support, while she was abandoned, and I quote, by her husband and forced to raise Maria alone. This mask conceals her envy and pain, feeling isolation and distance from her family. Yeah, like being abandoned and having to raise Maria alone and coming to the island every year for the meeting and seeing Kraus's family, seeing Ava's family, seeing well, Balor just came back, so but seeing Rudolph and Kirie being, and I quote, loving, it's like the jealousy and the resentment is there. Like, and her relationship with Maria is pretty fractured as is. So I feel that works. So Mask of Chaos, emotional volatility, reflecting a fractured mind, visible in heated interactions with siblings and Battler, especially when in regards to Ava. Like her and Ava, that relationship is just crazy, even in adulthood. Mask of Silence, suppression of pain, building emotional barriers used in moments of isolation and confrontation. Okay, that's good. Mask of Martyrdom, embracing suffering to justify bitterness and manipulate sympathy, shown to family members and Battler. A good example of that is when she was giving Maria, yeah, that is true. Like she has a very interesting relationship with Battler. It's questionable at times, but if you look at it at a simple point of view, she's seen as a pretty loving aunt, and I quote. But as you proceed later on, it's like, oh wow, like she's kind of not right in the head. And that's the thing. It's like, remember when Battler told, we'll use Shannon here. When Battler told Shannon he'll come back and take her on a white horse away, and never came back. There are theories that the theory that Shannon slash Cannon slash Yasha took that a little bit too serious, and did the events that caused the bomb to go off. Yeah, that's where things are absolutely crazy. Like holy shit. And we all know Battler didn't come back because of the falling out with Rudolph. So if we go by that theory, it's like Shannon took that a little bit too serious. So Mask of Martyrdom, embracing suffering to justify bitterness and manipulate sympathy, shown to family members and Battler. But yeah, like this when she was reprimanding Maria for the whole doing the occult thing in public in front of the family members, she was stating that even girls her age aren't doing the mannerisms that Maria is doing, especially when it comes to the So she's pretty much letting people know, like, yeah, look at the stuff that I have to deal with like every single day. So embracing suffering to justify bitterness and manipulate sympathy. So she's taking all that and making her feel like she's the victim. Mask of control. Manipulate others desperately to starve off chaos. Directed toward siblings and Maria. Yeah, that works. Mask of Shin. Guilt and self-loathing, fueling self-destructive tendencies. Yep, private and rarely acknowledged. Um, Rage. Explosive anger and hiding deep despair. Weapon and shield. Often aimed at Battler and other siblings, especially Eva. Definitely towards Eva. Mask of the Fool / Facade of Incompetence. Playing dumb and useless. I'm gonna reword that. Playing dumb and useless hides a sharp sadistic mind, making her dangerously underestimated. Subtly towards Battler, this facade is shown to her siblings, especially Ava, but is used as a tool to mask her agendas. Because she's not playing dumb, like she just seems dumb according to her siblings. So we'll reword that. All right. Revert evil to roll. Yeah, there we go. I'm actually gonna add that. That actually makes sense. Yeah, that's a good one. Nice. Actually, I will add that. Good stuff. Playing the role as a helpless younger sibling who needs guidance from the older family members, something along those lines. Helpless younger child. So we can definitely add a mask of that. Yeah, she just gets a bad rap because whenever people think about Rosa, they think about the what she did to Maria. Like the anime did not help that. Like holy shit, like the way they portrayed their relationship in the anime is just like brutal. And I mentioned this earlier, like the way she, and I quote, killed Sakatoro, like held it to Maria and just decapitated him and just held the head up to Maria. Sakatoro was dead. I'm like, oh my god, like that's just that's just too much. Like I know you're not happy with the way Maria's doing things, but holy crap, you just physically scarred the kid. But yeah, so she definitely gets a bad rap because the whole mother of the year thing, child abuse, and all that stuff. But she's a really complex character. Mask of helplessness. There we go. Yeah, like it's not really like obviously she loves Maria. Like it's just circumstances out of their control that just strain their relationship. Because again, Rosa has really big resentment. Obviously, towards the main family getting abandoned. It's like Rosa just doesn't know how to. Rosa doesn't know how to deal with situations. Besides what I've mentioned, like sure, Rosa is, and I quote, a very dangerous. Yeah, Rosa, and I quote, is a very dangerous character because all the masks that she wears and how she can potentially be. But if you really just like take away all the layers of that and just dig really deep, it's like yeah, she's really just a broken woman at the end of the day. She loves her daughter, like no doubt. Like if you really look at it, she gave Maria Sapatoro because as a gift. So she loves Maria. It's just the way it's just the way that their relationship is strained. It just seems like she doesn't really love her, but she does. And the relationship with her family is like Kenzo obviously is not father of the year. Kenzo is oof, not the best. Ava's relationship her relationship with Ava. Ava obviously did what she did. Um, her relationship with Rudolph is weird. Exactly. She's the only Ushinomiya sibling with a lack of love. She cannot be loved as a woman. She cannot love as a mother. And because of these things, she cannot love herself. Yeah. So she she doesn't have the concept of love. That's about it is at the end of the day. Hmm. Which again plays a role into the resentment aspect. She sees the rest of her siblings and in loving relationships, and it's like, wow, I don't have that. Like using Kraus in Natsui as an example, like they have they have a good relationship with each other. Uh, yes, they have a good relationship with each other. And I just had to sit down and think for a second. Like Jessica came out normal. Um, Ava's relationship with her husband and George is pretty normal. Besides George being very complex in his one weird way. George is another one, but that's not where I'm trying to get at. Um, Rudolph obviously had his Rudolph and Battler's relationship with Kyrie Kirie is weird. Obviously, they had their falling out because of what happened, and it is what it is. I think the way we can see it as Rosa has resentment towards Kraus and Ava's relationships with their family. Like this is something that I don't have. My husband abandoned me. I have a very strained relationship with my child. I take out my frustrations on my child when I shouldn't be taking out my frustrations on my child. And it just adds more credibility for her being a very complex and broken character. Like she's a good character at the end of the day. Besides all the shenanigans. Let's go helplessness. Yeah, like that's exactly what it is. It is. I don't have that, or I don't deserve that, or maybe a combination of the two of them. It's both of them. If you really want to be cute about it, I feel like Rosa's best relationship actually when she was a kid was with Kumasawa. Oh, wait a minute. Again, where that's digging into kind of fan theory because remember Beatrice and Virgilia's relationship, they had a good relationship. If you go with the whole Rosa Treese relationship, you'd be like, oh, Rosa and yeah, yeah, Rosa and Kumasawa. There we go. Rosa, Beatrice, Kumasawa, Virgilia. It's the theories that always kill me. But yeah, I would say the best relationship she had as a kid was with Kumasawa. Hmm. Rosa siblings, but again, like this is where things get kind of funny. Rosa was treated as such when she was a kid, and she took all the things that went wrong with her childhood and puts it on to other people. You would think again, this is what the whole Ushinomiya family logic goes into play here. You would think that Rosa would learn from this. Wow, I was treated like crap when I was a kid. Maybe I shouldn't treat people like crap when I'm an adult. No, furniture is furniture is still furniture. But yeah, like no, it's like you. I was treated like crap. I'm gonna take. I'm still gonna be treating people like crap. But I just actually thought about that. It's like yeah, she's still kind of. She still treats. She looks down on people just as people look down on her. Roses look down. Rosa is looked down upon. The useless, being the useless. Useless, dumb. Useless, dumb. There's more to it, but I just want to think about this because we see primarily her relationship with Ava. Ava was um Ava was mostly the aggressor in this. Ava's always the aggressor. Like all this, she has her relationship where she has her strained relationship with Kraus because Kraus was the firstborn, so Kraus should technically be the next in line, but Kinzo has his own little succession process with that. But their relationship is pretty much just always Ava and Rosa. So Rosa, incompetent. Yep, incompetent. There we go. I was just thinking about the whole Baka Rosa thing. I thought so. For being useless, incompetent, and she's the youngest, so her. Wait. Oh yeah. In the bottom of the hierarchy. There we go. Bingo. She's the youngest, so you don't matter. Mask of helplessness. Rosa is looked down on by her siblings for being the useless, incompetent, for being useless, incompetent in the bottom of the hierarchy. Okay, there we go. Okay, so each mask fragments Rosa's identity but conceals the terrifying core of her mask of madness. The raw core of Rosa's fractured psyche, trauma, rage, and calculation and sadism into madness. Trauma as a root, childhood neglect and abuse warps her mind, fueling fear and helplessness. Sadism and control, cruelty towards Maria and others as desperate attempts to control chaos. Again, using the whole Sakatara. It's interesting that one of her greatest pains in life end up being utilized as her greatest strengths, as we see multiple times through the family conferences. She weaponizes her standing. Yeah, I would say out of everybody in the family, well, I'm not going to count Maria because they see each other every day. Her best relationship in her family is probably with Bat. Like you really never see her interactions with like with the kids. You only see her interactions with her siblings, and yeah, you see her interactions with her siblings, but not their children. Like I really, she obviously respects Jessica, but you know they don't really interact like that. George respect, but Battler, their relationship is pretty complex. And obviously the furniture is pretty bad. Yeah, really, really bad. Furniture is furniture at the end of the day. I think her and Klaus have a decent relationship. Well, Klaus is funny because out of all of Kinzo's kids, he fits the trope of being the older sibling who has a lot on his mantle, but is willing to work hard to get successful in life. And Ava, yeah, like because if you really want to be cute about it, if things went normal like typical anime slash manga, light novels, etc., he's next in line to take over for the Ushiromiya. There's just everything involved with the Ushiromiya, the wealth, the fame, the fortune, all that stuff. It's just Kinzo just has his own way of doing things. So he should be next in line. So he has a lot on his table to inherit the family name. But we really don't see much of him. So if I really want to be cute, he's probably the most normal, and that's even stretching it right there because obviously he inherited all the Ushinomiya family's bad traits, such as looking down on people and all that fun jazz. Ava probably is the worst of them all because, God, like Ava's just terrible. Just really, really, really just terrible. Yeah, she's normal. He's normal for being an Ushinomiya, which is saying something. With a family that is not normal at all. And as I was mentioning, Ava is just a terrible person just in general. Rudolph, Rudolph is interesting. He's a con man at the end of the day. If it came to like leading the Ushinomiya family, he'd probably be your typical shady Japanese uh, leader. And remember, there are certain episodes and sequences where him and QDA are the killers. Um, then Ava, not Ava, then Rosa at the bottom. So Rosa has a lot on her plate because she has to live up to the expectations of the Ushinomiya family, but being at the bottom of the barrel, it's like there's so much pressure on her. Not counting how difficult her life is, her failing business, her failing business, her failing family, getting abandoned, her strained relationship um with Maria. It's like Rosa just has so much stuff just going on. It's like you wonder like how are you even like normal? Like how are you just not like, giving into despair? But as we've seen, yeah, she's not normal in the slightest. Like she has a lot of baggage. Emotional volatility, rapid mood swings between rage, despair, and detachment, single mind unraveling. So using her relationship with Ava, like Ava will bait Rosa, and Rosa will just give into like anger, just straight up will just give into anger. Despair is a funny word to use here because we technically don't see her despairing, but it's alluded to just because deep down you can tell Rosa wants to be a good mother to Maria at the end of the day. It's just she doesn't know how to be a proper mother. And like I mentioned before, when she got called up by Maria for taking these vacations, going out with boyfriends, she didn't know how to react to that. And that goes into detachment as well. So philosophical madness. Her madness rejects identity, family, and fate, destruct the self-loathing is rebellion. Um, she she's wildly resigned to her. She's weirdly resigned to her position as far as we see. Like she couldn't even imagine a better position for herself because there's not really much she can do. Like you can't she can't change the fact that she was born last and that her she was born with a silver spoon in her mouth. Give me a second. Oh boy. I'm actually getting a backup from my psychologist friend in regards to the psychology of her, but um it's funny because she is the bottom of the barrel and there's nothing she can do about that. She can't change the fact that she was born last. She was born with a silver spoon in her mouth, but not the right family to have a silver spoon in your mouth. Because going off of tropes, she should have had it all. She should have had it all. She should have had the wealth, a good upbringing, all the good schools, all the right connections, all that stuff. But as you see with the Ushiromiya family, it's like no, like a lot of people in the Ushiromiya family, especially the siblings, they're struggling in life. Her, for example, failing business. Oh God, I cannot remember what the issue with Kraus was, but it's usually financial with them. Like they've made terrible financial decisions. Will put them in positions. Yeah, there we go. There we go. It's perfect. That's actually good. So in regards to that, it's like all the Ushinomiya siblings, they have something going with them that puts them in a position where they need the gold. They need all the 10 tons of gold. That would, yeah. Honestly, if you really look at it, yes. So, yeah, like everybody in the Ushimiya family does have a reason for trying to solve the epitaph and getting the gold. Just obviously their children doesn't know what's going on. They're just every year we come here to this island, we get to see our cousins and have fun, et cetera, while meetings are happening in the background. And again, like Rosa being bottom of the barrel is like, oh, Baka Rosa, know your place, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Ava and Klaus going at it. Klaus being like, I don't care. Ava's like, why couldn't it be me born first? And Rudolph just being there. Okay, so the consequence madness isolates her, deepening her darkness and driving tragic decisions, which is true because Rosa could have been better as a person, but she doesn't know how to be a better person because of how she was brought up. Kumasawa probably being the only person in her childhood that treated her like a normal person, but Kumasawa was furniture. She was just a servant at the end of the day. There's only think about Bruce Wayne and Alfred. Alfred pretty much took over the parental role for Bruce Wayne when his parents died. So if we went with that direction, Kumasawa should have been like a mother figure for Rosa, but she couldn't because she knew her place as furniture. She could only do so much. So Kumasawa was a good person for Rosa to talk to, but not so much because of how the Ushinomiya family's system works. Furniture is still furniture at the end of the day, you know your place. So her not having a good childhood just didn't help out. So her decision making later on obviously had very adverse effects on Maria in general because of abuse. Like, you just generally have to feel bad for Maria. Exactly. So Kumasawa would be the mother figure because, as we've seen, Kinzo is not the best person to go to, like, for anything, like, at all. And he fits that role of the patriarch of the family who just doesn't care. So Rosa didn't have any good influences growing up, as we've seen. Like, Kumasawa would probably be the only saving grace she had as a kid, because obviously she can't go to her siblings because yeah, it's Baka Rosa, stupid Rosa. Ava probably would have been a good role model for her because, oh, we're girls. You're my older sister. I can go to you if something goes wrong. But haha, no. Ava obviously treated Rosa as trash. So she didn't have any good like figures growing up at all, and didn't really have a parental figure besides Kumasawa's limited role. Her father obviously wasn't the best person. Her siblings treated her like trash, so she didn't really have a good upbringing. And going off of the way the Ushimiya family structure is, she probably couldn't interact with people like with normal like rabble, like the common folk. She probably was schooled with people of higher living standards. So we don't know how her relationships with others was in the past, like if she had any actual friends. But going off of how she is now, it's like, yeah, like you don't have very good interpersonal relationships. Yeah, you don't. Oh, give me one second. Because of Ava's internalized superiority due to her gender and standing with the family, she took it out on Rosa just like Rosa does to Maria because there is no one else. Exactly. It's a it's a it's a slippery slope effect. Ava's inferiority complex towards Kraus, because Ava feels like she should have been born first, but we can't determine whether we're born or not. So again, Ava herself is just a victim of circumstance, and she takes out all her frustrations on Rosa, who in turn takes out all her frustrations on Maria. So in a sense, Rosa just doesn't really have they just didn't really have a good upbringing, and lo and behold, this is what happens. Like Maria just ends up being a victim of circumstance. Everybody in Umineko is a victim of circumstance in a way. Like using Shannon, well, I'll just use Shannon as an example. Now, not going into any weird theories. Shannon is seen as furniture. She has no one could predict that. Shannon is seen as furniture. She has a role in life. She can't do anything else. Battler comes because of how Battler's personality is and and how he is as a person. Promised to take her away on a white horse. Shannon took it too seriously. Battler had his falling out with Rudolph and just ended up leaving and never came back for Shannon. Just just a lot of circumstances. Oh boy! All right, my psychological buddy just messaged me about this. They are neurotypical. This describes people who process information in a way that is considered standard or typical. Someone who is neurotypical develops brain function like social and organizational skills at similar rates as others their age. Neurodivergent. This refers to people who process information in a way that is not typical for their age. This variation could include a diagnosed condition like autism or attention deficiency, hyperactivity disorder, but neurodivergence itself is not a diagnosis. It means that the brain works differently than what is considered typical. It's neither right or wrong. This applies to Maria and Rose a lot, more so Maria. Oh my God, God, you just blew my mind with psychology. I hate you because I know a bit or two about psychology, but it helps having someone that's actually a psychologist give you some information. I got him involved into Umineko back in the day, but he's just messaging me over Discord. I'm just gonna see what he says. But yeah, that's actually true. Um, but anyways, going off of this, like if Rosa just had a better upbringing, things would have changed. Let's see. Okay, that works. They were written to be neurodivergent coded. That works. Okay, I'm gonna wait while he messages me. I'm gonna look over things and we'll see how things are. So, psychological analysis inside of Rose's mind. Fragmented identity, how trauma and social pressures cause multiple fractured selves, reflecting in many masks. Yeah, like Rosa was definitely pressured in her childhood. And I feel like if she just had better relationships, she would have been perfectly normal. Because besides Prouse, Rosa is Rosa has all of the capabilities of being normal. Defensive mechanisms: denial, projection, dissociation, and repression shape her behavior and relationships. Yes. Cognitive dissonance, constant internal conflict between her self-image and painful reality hides instability. Yeah, she's not mentally stable. Emotional dysregulation, difficulty controlling emotional responses fuels her volatile outbursts and depressive episodes. Yep. Sadistic tendencies as coping, how cruelty becomes a twisted way to regain power over helplessness. Yep. Impact of isolation, social rejection by family exacerbates her paranoia and self-destructive cycles. Yep. Okay, sorry about that. Um, I'm gonna add his bids as soon as he's done like messaging me. I'll have to do because this is just the outline, so probably later on today I'll do a stream writing the entire essay out because that's how I normally do things. I do a stream that's just framework and outlining, then I do a rough draft, I do a final draft, and I'll release a video later on. Multifaceted masks. God, he is just typing up a storm right now. Holy crap. Mm. Oh my god. You're right. Oh my god. That's actually so accurate. Oh my, I never saw it like that. Wow, they are the Kardashians. Oh my goodness. Oh man. Wow, that's actually crazy. Oh, my buddy actually just gave me a quote to use. Let's see. Quote. He is still typing. Holy shit. We both had differing opinions back in the day. Like I was more content with the everything just being so up in the air, like everything being open ended. I was just content with having a good story. Like anything could work, but he took things a little bit more deeper than I did in regards to like theories and everything. Like we've actually got into arguments about the whole Yasu situation, Willard and Leon. It's like, dude, I know, I know. Let me. I'll stick with what I know, and you stick with what you know. Let's agree to disagree because this series is already complex as is. We're not going to get anywhere just by arguing back and forth for hours about this. Especially when it comes to like characters like Angie. Yeah, like, Angie's funny. Angie's. I have to do a video on Angie eventually. She is a. She has she has the that bad complex. It's not a bad complex. She loves her brother too damn much. But she's a good character also. Alright, so quote. We all wear masks in the time. The time comes when we yeah Hold on. Okay. Ryu wrote her to be neurodivergent coded. In the 80s, neurodivergent women and girls were underreported. Interesting. So let me read that again. Neurodivergent, this refers to people who process information in a way that is not typical for their age. This variation could include a diagnosed condition like autism or attention deficient hyperactivity disorder, ADHD. The neurodivergence itself is not a diagnosis. It just means the brain works differently than what is considered typical. It's neither right or wrong. This applies to Maria and Rosa a lot, but more so Maria. That is actually true because the way Maria's mental state is, it's not typical for girls her age. God, we're gonna turn this into a psychological analysis video at this rate. All right, let me finish writing that quote that he's giving me. Okay. We all wear masks, and the time comes when we cannot. That's a very interesting quote. I've never heard of this one before. We all wear masks, and the time comes when we cannot remove them without ruining some of our own skin. Interesting. How would I? All right. It could be very possible that not just Rosa, but quite a few of Kinzo's children may be suffering through complex PTSD. When you spend your life behind a mask, you lose the ability to recognize yourself in the mirror. Oh my God! I am putting that one in the video. I normally do that. Whenever someone shows up to one of these streams and they put some gold, I end up putting it in the video. God, that's some good stuff over there. Wow. It's actually really good. Okay. Think that up. Spend your life behind a mask, you lose the ability to recognize yourself in there. That's actually really great, especially since Rosa has a crap ton of these masks. All right, let me read this quote again. All right, we all wear masks, and the time comes when we cannot remove them without ruining some of our own skin. That's actually good. That's actually a really good quote. So Rosa, Rosa's masks, painful necessities. Yeah, painful necessities. Whining, drama. I just have like 7 Discord messages. He is cooking in the background over there. Denial, and survival, and darkness. All right, what are you plotting over there? And we're let him cook. we're not socialized to we're socialized not to speak because they have wealth and status. Being different is a no-no. Um, let's see. Yeah, so following up with your comment about Kinzo's children being maybe suffering through complex PTSD. Yeah, Kinzo is definitely abusive. Yeah, Kinzo definitely is just a pretty shitty person in general. Okay. So do you feel not asking a very big question? Do you feel Rose is a victim of circumstance? I know he's just going into details about extreme detail about that. Okay, carrying on. Final thoughts. Understand Rosa. To understand Rosa, to face the tragic mask trauma forces us to wear. Yeah, like if you've ever had like a traumatic event in your life, your body is programmed in a way that you don't want to ever face that feeling ever again. So we have this self-defense mechanism that tries to protect our psyche. So we don't want to ever experience something like that again. So some people create masks. So to understand Rosa is to face the tragic mask trauma forces us to wear. Yeah, that's the crappy thing about it because at the end of the day, she is such a great kid. Like she really is such a great kid. It's just being a victim of circumstance. Both of them, they just can never understand each other. That's the biggest thing. Like it's just at the end of the day, this is all just tragedy. To understand Rose is to face the tragic mass trauma forces us to wear. What if let's take a look at this one more time. So Rosa Ushiromiya is a broken woman cloaked in darkness, her true self hidden beyond countless masks, masks that control a storm of madness, rage, and despair. Quote, the greatest deception men suffer is from their own opinions, Leonardo da Vinci. So explanation of that, Rosa's family and even herself are trapped behind layers of deception and fragmented identities, hiding painful truths behind masks. And we have to explore Rosa's many faces in the shadow they conceal. So section one is going to be the complex nature of Rosa Ushiromiya, overview of Rosa's role in the family and narrative, her outward image versus the brutal reality of her personality, the significance of mask and unlock her complex character. When you spend your life behind a mask, you lose the ability to recognize yourself in the mirror. That is so amazing. That's awesome. So section two, the mask Rosa wears. The mask of deception, a calm facade hiding inner chaos, used especially around family to avoid vulnerability, directed at family members broadly, particularly with her siblings who underestimate her. I think at the core of her character, Rosa is very sad, but she has no one in her life that she feels comfortable sharing that with. This is fervent into rage. Yeah, it's true. Which again, digging into a can of worms right there. I think again, this is going into like a little bit of headcanon, little theory here. I think Battler's rebellion that he did about just not coming to the island for the meetings, just cutting ties with Rudolph and everybody. I think that serves as motivation for Rosa because wow, if Battler did this, why didn't I do this when I was a child? So I think her relationship with Battler is great because she sees Battler as someone who someone who she could have been like. Like Battler just didn't give a crap. He just left. Rudolph did this. Rudolph went to another woman as soon as his mother went away. Well, in that quote went away, died. But yeah, maybe Battler is seen as a self reflection of what she could have been if she had the power to actually stand up for herself. Wow, that actually might work. Interesting. Yeah, yeah, because that's actually a good angle because the way Rosa was brought up, she was brought up in a world that she could not escape from. Like sure, she had everything that anybody could wish for. She was brought up in money, she was brought up with power and all that stuff, but that didn't mean anything because at the end of the day, she was a miserable kid. She was extremely miserable. She was treated like trash, she didn't build any interpersonal relationships. She was physically and mentally abused. Then here comes her nephew later on in life, who pretty much rebelled against the status quo that she herself was forced to live with for all those years. Because Rosa is like 35 years old. Yeah, 35. Rosa's 35. Yeah. So in all her years of her, the earliest memory she had was just her being in the position she was in that she could not escape from. And lo and behold, here's someone, her nephew, who who's like her young nephew, just pretty much rebellion against her family. That yeah, her young nephew just rebelled against the status quo, which she couldn't escape from, and she probably finds that interesting. And oh God, please don't go. I'm not gonna go this route. All right, okay, bear with me here. Bear with me here, because I play too much. I play too much fucking video games. I play too much video games and read too much visual novels. Maybe Battler's resolve in the way he went about life, it resonated with her, and she felt, and I quote, and I'm using this loosely, to it. Attracted to it, not in that way. She felt attracted to it. So yeah, Battler is Battler being the way he is something that she could have did in the past. Like she could have rebelled, she could have stood up for herself, but she didn't have the mental fortitude to stand up for herself. And the way Battler did things, it resonated with her. But like, hold on, let me Google something real quick. I wonder. I have a very funny relationship together. Yeah, here we go. Yep. Okay. I remembered reading this when I was reading the remake. How the hell am I gonna actually show this? What the hell is this? He gave me a wink and a smile, which almost made my heart jump, even though she is my aunt. Yeah. I knew I remember that, but I'm not even gonna dig into that rabbit hole right now. I was like, wait a minute. Yeah. So yeah, she clearly, definitely views him in a high regard. God damn it! Even years later, after going through the remake, like that just stuck with me. Like, damn, damn. Okay, so I asked my buddy, so do you feel Rosa is a victim of circumstance? Circumstance, yes, very much so. The tea party in episode 2 was Rosa talking to Beatrice like she was her therapist. LOL. Rosa was ignored by Kenzo and bullied by everyone else. Oh boy. God, I just lit a fire in this man's soul. It's like, oh, you're doing a Umineko lore video? All right, let me cook in the background. Rosa wasn't stupid, and and she, Rosa was never stupid. She was neurodivergent and never got actual help. Yeah, that's exactly what we brought up. It's like she didn't she didn't have interpersonal relationships growing up, and only really had okay. All right. Yeah, that really just came out of nowhere. Like I thought about it. I'm like, hmm. I remember there was a scene. Just yeah, that's actually good. Okay. I'm gonna let him cook in the background. Let me just finish reviewing this. God, that just made my day. I'm like, hmm. I remember something that I probably should remember when I was reading the visual novel, and it probably involves some Uta shenanigans from Rosa to Battler. And I'm like, I googled it. I'm like, oh yeah, yeah, that was a thing. But it just supports the fact that Rosa will hold Battler in a high regard because Battler represents pretty much what she could have did. She could have been. Hold on, let me actually write that. Should have done a lot of other shenanigans. That's a big clue to Rosa being neurodivergent. Same with her belief in magic witches too when she was younger. Oh god, yep, he's fucking cooking over there. I just woke up the beast. She sees herself in Maria. Yep. This is gonna be a very interesting one. She sees herself in Maria. As in all the mistakes. Which is true. Rosa couldn't do any of that when she was a kid because she she had to fit the image that the Ushiromiya family had her have. She technically couldn't really be her own person. And the fact that Maria in her own way is being her own person is confusing to Rosa. Which again, Rosa probably loves the fact that Maria didn't become like her. It's just yeah, she likes the fact that didn't become like her, but she is confused on how to handle the situation because Rosa is so indoctrinated in that lifestyle that the Ushimiya family put on her. She's confused with the way Maria is doing things. Like like, sure, Rosa loves the occult and all that stuff, but how would society view that? Rosa is Rosa, and I quote, is a success, not a successful. She's a businesswoman who owns her company, who owns a company. Exactly. Yeah, like she respects it. It's just don't do it in public because Rosa has her own self image that she has to protect. Because remember, Rosa is still really fractured. She's a fractured person at the end of the day. Anything that breaks her status quo right now is in her eyes unacceptable. And that's again comes to the fact that this is indoctrination at the end of the day. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. This is gonna be a very interesting take on this. Yeah. Exactly. Just add to the layers of complexity when regards to Rosa. Because yeah, it's because Rosa has a mask. Oh boy, yep. It's the whole mask off. It's the whole mask thing we've been bringing up. Yep. Yeah, because Rosa, it's because Rosa can mask. Maria can't because she's just a kid. Yeah, it's that's what it is at the end of the day. It sucks. She doesn't know any better because she's a kid. It comes down to the whole being a victim of circumstance. Like it really, really does suck for like all the Ushinomiya kids. Not the siblings, just their children. It sucks for Jessica because of the pressures of being Kraus and Natsui's daughter. It, George, George is weird. I'll get to it's generational trauma. There we go. Generational trauma. Thank you. Please go back to work, but thank you. Generational trauma. There we go. It is generational trauma at work. Yep, that definitely works. It's yeah, it's a slippery slope. Yeah, and I feel like Battler, Battler was the thing that broke the cycle in a sense because he rebelled. He rebelled, but ended up coming back anyways. Which I'm gonna let him cook, and I'm gonna actually think about this on my end. So yeah, so the mask of the mother. Rosa knows she isn't a good mom, but she's trying. She, however, doesn't really know how to. Yeah, exactly. She doesn't know how to be a good mother. Let me actually give him this because I actually want his opinion on this. Um, where was it? I didn't know. But of course, only you would actually know these weird fun facts. What the fuck? Rosa knows she isn't a good mother, but she's trying. However, she doesn't really know how to because of the abuse. She has a social worker helping her. How the okay? Like, I didn't know that. But all right. Thank you, Mister. Goes way deeper into lore than normal. Thanks. Okay. Remember when Maria called her out? Remember when Maria called her out for the Okay, let's look at this again. So the mask of deception, calm facade, hiding inner chaos, used especially around family to avoid vulnerability, directed at her family members broadly, particularly with her siblings who underestimate her. Okay, that's good. Mask of the businesswoman, pride and forced professionalism, hiding her desperation to maintain control, primarily worn towards family members. Mask of the normal mother, superficial care for Maria, mask emotional distance and difficulty connecting, worn mostly in Maria's presence. You would think the sequence wherein Maria murders Rosa over and over was over dramatization of Rosa dressed as Beatrice cheer her up. Well, here's the thing. Hmm. Mm. Oh my god. Oh god damn it. Give me a moment. Let's see. This is a good point of reference. Yeah, it's I think at the end of the day, she really, really, really felt sorry for what she did. So maybe I'm thinking real quick. All right. The way I can see that working is obviously Rosa feels terrible for what she did, doesn't show it. And if we really go into that, the magical aspect of it, if the whole Rosa Trace thing is a thing, maybe the way things were working, she wanted to show Maria that the the person Maria interacts with every single day, that Rosa isn't how she really is. Because remember, that Rosa, Maria's mother Rosa, the Rosa that we know, is probably that Rosa is not a full-fledged person because that Rosa was built up to be the way she is. She didn't have a normal childhood. She was forced to be a certain way just because of how she was raised. Like she didn't have the opportunity to become her own person. She had to become a person that fit the standards of the Ushiromiya family, and it's a fake persona at the end of the day. And her killing Sakatoro, her taking her frustrations on Maria, it's not fair for Maria because obviously, exactly that, yeah, exactly. So looking at it here, it's like it just adds a good layer of complexity to the character. It's like Rosa was raised a certain way, but she probably realized when she killed Sakatoro that yeah, like this is not fair. Like I'm taking out my frustrations on I'm taking out my frustrations on my daughter is no better than what happened to me when I was younger. So if the whole Rose Trees thing is a thing, it would make sense as for her to kill that version of Rosa that Maria knows. That 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 mother who just I'm gonna say this. the way the relationship seems like, it just seems like Maria must think that Rosa just hates her, which is far from the truth. Rosa loves her daughter, loves her daughter. It's just she just doesn't know how to act with her daughter because again, she just didn't have the right upbringing and never really built relationships with people. Which again, I'm digging into a big rabbit hole here. I wouldn't be surprised as to what drove her husband to abandon her at the end of the day. It's a lot of that's definitely a lot of headcanon theory right there. That's definitely a lot of headcanon theory, which I'm thinking in my head makes sense. Probably. But yeah. Okay. Mask of rationality, clinging to the logic to deny harsh truths, shown especially towards Balor and other family members. Mask of victim turned punisher. Yeah. And that ties into the whole not being able to have good interpersonal relationships with people. Like, if you really want to be cute about it, if Rosa actually had a decent enough upbringing, she can tell when people she could should have been able to tell when people were taking advantage of her. The only thing she saw in life was physical and mental abuse from people. And again, she probably didn't have any friends growing up. She lived on the island. Yeah, exactly. She lived on the island. So the only thing she saw was the mental and physical abuse from family members, with Kumasawa being the only saving grace. So she probably wasn't wary enough to see. Yeah, she was desperate for affection and love, so she probably didn't see that she was taken advantage of. And the fact that he was able to write a loan in her name is baffling to me. But that's another weird rabbit hole. But yeah, didn't know. She didn't know that she was getting taken advantage of because she's so desperate for affection and love that she didn't have as a kid. There we go. And which ties into this. Rosa harbors deep resentment towards her siblings who enjoyed normal, loving families and support while she was abandoned by her husband and forced to raise Maria alone. This mask conceals her envy, pain, and isolation, and distance from her family. Yeah, that's probably it. Mask of that's probably it. Mask of chaos, emotional volatility reflecting a fractured mind, visible in heated interactions with siblings and battler. Mask of silence, suppression of pain, building emotional barriers used in moments of isolation and confrontation. Mask of martyrdom, embracing suffering to justify bitterness and manipulate sympathy, shown to family members and battler. Okay. Mask control, manipulating others desperately to starve off chaos, directed at siblings and Maria. Yup. Mask of shame, guilt and self-loathing, feeling self-destructive tendencies, private and rarely acknowledged. This is good because this goes with what we've been talking about. Because at the end of the day, like Rosa is a normal woman. At the end of the day, it's just her upbringing just wasn't the best. So in her private life, she probably does have shame for what she's done to Maria, because Maria right now is her only saving grace. Like, she has deep and bitter resentment towards her father and her siblings, and right now the only person in her life is Maria, which she has a very strained relationship for how she treated her at the end of the day. So there's definitely guilt and shame. Like, she loves Maria, it's just she didn't treat Maria right. She became literally the thing that caused her so much pain in the past. The irony of it. Mask of rage, explosive anger hiding deeper despair, weapon and shield, often aimed at Battler and other siblings, especially Ava. She doesn't have a single person in her life she does not resent in one way or another. Yeah, and right now, even when I was playing through like Umineko, it's like, yeah, like she really takes a lot of her frustrations out on Battler, because as we mentioned before, Battler is a representation of what she could have did. She could have rebelled. She could have stood up for herself, but she didn't. And she sees in Battler what she probably could have been in life. And that's where she holds and that's why she takes out her frustrations on Battler a lot, calling him the wolf of the scenario. And obviously taking out her frustrations on Ava, because Ava is a prime reason for her anger. Mask of the Fools, facade of incompetence, playing the role of a helpless younger child, hides a sharp, sadistic mind, making her dangerously underestimated. Because at the end of the day, she is smart. She can willingly solve the epitaph, but the way the story shows her, she's not smart. But you read deeper into it, it's like, yeah, she's actually pretty bright. It's just we're going off of the siblings' representation of her. They always viewed her as the younger, stupid, incompetent Rosa, and we're seeing like, wow, she's actually not incompetent at all. She's actually really smart. It's just she's smart, but she's not people smart. There we go. She's smart, but not people smart. I'd argue to say she's probably even smarter than Eva because, yeah, I'd probably even say she's smarter than Eva. She's very good at masking her. Besides her outbursts, she's very good at playing the roles that she's assigned to do. Because remember, when she's first introduced into the series, before the whole blatant Maria abuse thing came up, she was seen as, oh, it's Aunt Rosa. I love Aunt Rosa. All that stuff. She's seen as the lovable aunt. Like the kids love her. Like Battler, Jessica, and George love her because she's been portrayed as the kind and lovable aunt. So she's really good at playing a role. Like she plays a role really well, whether it be the kind aunt, the angry, bitter Rosa, the smart, calculating, sadistic Rosa, the tragic Rosa, the abusive Rosa. Like whatever role like she's been assigned to, she can fit it really, really well. And she can take center stage relatively easy, as we've seen in later stories. Mask of helplessness. Rosa is looked down on by her siblings for being useless and incompetent, and at the bottom of the hierarchy, which fuels her animosity towards her family. This adds to her anger and resentment. Yep. Each mask fragments Rosa's identity, but conceals a terrifying core, her mask of madness. The raw core of Rosa's fractured psyche: trauma, rage, calculation, sadism, and madness. Trauma as a root. Childhood neglect and abuse warps her mind, feeling fear and helplessness. Sadism and control. Cruelty towards Maria and others, seen as desperate attempts to control chaos. No, that's fine. Facade of incompetence amplifies madness. Playing the fool conceals her true danger, making her stealthily and unpredictable. And the whole her being unpredictable is actually very true. It's like 1 second she can be emotionally distraught, then the next second she's just extremely just like calculating. Emotional volatility, rapid mood swings between rage, despair, and detachment, signal a mind unraveling. Philosophical madness. Her madness rejects identity, family, and fate, destructive self-loathing as rebellion. Consequences. Madness isolates her, deepening her darkness and driving tragic decisions. Psychological analysis. Inside Rosa's mind. Fragmented identity. How trauma and social pressures cause multiple fractured selves, reflecting in her many masks. Defense mechanisms. Denial, projection, dissociation, and representation shape her behavior and relationships. Cognitive dissonance. Constant internal conflict between her self-image and painful reality heightens instability. Emotional dysregulation. Difficulty controlling emotional responses fuels her volatile outbursts in depressive episodes. Sadistic tendencies as coping. How cruelty becomes a twisted way to regain power over helplessness. Impact of isolation. Social rejection by her family exacerbates paranoia and self-destructive cycles. Conclusion. Recap Rosa's multifaceted, masked, and tragic significance. Quote, we all wear masks, and the time comes when we cannot remove them without removing some of our own skin. That's a really good quote that he used there. Rosa's masks are painful necessities, intertwining trauma, denial, survival, and darkness. Final thoughts. To understand Rosa's to face tragic mask trauma forces us to wear, but with the mask becomes her true face. That's good. Okay. Goddamn, I've been streaming this for almost 2.5 hours. So unfortunately, I do got to wrap it up because it's almost chow time and it's the weekend. And if I don't go there, I'm not going to get food. So good stuff. This is really good content that we did today. I have another video that I have to do with another script, but if I have enough time, I'll start the script for this video. This is gonna be a very intense video. Definitely gonna be a very intense video. So good stuff. Whoever stopped by for help, thank you very much for your help. Other than that, be looking forward to the next stream I do on this. I probably might be doing it later. We out. Bye-bye. Take care, everybody.